Cecil half-off Christmas candy Scott are in the booth. Brad Stutz and Cecil once got busy in a Burger King bathroom Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil Berserker Scott are in the booth. Your diligent scribe, Brad Stutz and Cecil, Susie Spirit Scott, Brad Stutz and Cecil, one-winged angel Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, shake it like a Polaroid picture Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, shake it but don't break it Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, shake what your mama gave you Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, 2 out of 3 ain't bad Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, life is a living and I want my money back Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, 1 in 100 Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, bat out of hell Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, I would do anything for love, but I won't do that Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, send warriors, guns, and money Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, black velvet with that slow southern style Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, half man, half amazing Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, Dunk will get him next season Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, pleasure spiked with pain Scott. I am Brad Stutz alongside Cecil. Summer breeze makes me feel fine Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, absolute straight up Scott. I am Brad Stutz along with Cecil, enchantment under the sea Scott. Brad Stutz and Cecil, Sunny King Scott are in the booth. I'm Brad Stutz along with Cecil Scott and Cecil.
This is Eric Andrews, CWF Worldwide Television Champion. You're listening to the official, unofficial CWF Worldwide Aftershow.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Oh, God.
Oh, God.
Oh, we didn't
I keep doing the Brad Stutz, oh, God thing.
For going on 2 years now. The guys here on the network make fun of me for it, no less.
Trevor Lee!
There you go. The host, ring announcer, sometimes brilliant commentator, the lovely CL Party. CL, how are you doing tonight?
I am great. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you so much.
The technical director of CWF Mid-Atlantic, the one and only Grant Sawyer. Thank you for joining us, Grant. How are you?
Oh, thanks for having me back, buddy. I'm happy to fill in because, I'm just sitting around listening to you guys anyway.
I could be in that building at Absolute Justice and cut a fart.
Mm-hmm.
6 years later, they're going to be like, whatever happened to that badass Joe White sitting in the third row cutting farts?
Right.
Everything fucking means something in this place, and I love
That's what
it.
you want, White.
You're supposed to remember shit.
Mm-hmm. They don't insult your intelligence.
Damn right they don't. None other than the one, the only, Sis. Sis, how are you doing tonight?
I'm fantastic.
Is Johnny P. John Philip Pavage is going to be joining us. How are things going?
Oh, good. I got a break from editing because you're calling me.
Okay.
So
I have to ask.
I still have to do everything. It's just that I get to pace myself better.
I have to ask because you mentioned it.
Yeah.
What are you editing? Again, that music can only mean one thing. We are joined by the current, reigning, defending, rising Generation League champion of CWF Mid-Atlantic, and that is Mr. Kane Justice. What's up, Kane?
What's up, guys? And by the way, it is the record setting. I've defended the belt 8 times.
There you go.
More than anyone else in history. All about Kane now, man.
Bruce Mitchell is joining me right now on the line. How are you, Bruce?
This week I have done shows with Wade Keller, J.J. Dillon, and WWE Hall of Famer, another WWE Hall of Famer, Stan Hansen, Gerald Briscoe, WWE Hall of Famer, Jim Ross. And now the highlight of the entire run, it's built to this, been like a great wrestling program. I've been climbing that ladder, and now I'm here on the blow-off show, the blow-off match. You're it, man. You transcend all those guys.
I was going to go the opposite of that and say, look how the mighty have fallen.
No. You had to build my way to this show, the CWF.
I appreciate
Unofficial,
it, sir.
official.
I'm with Trevor on this one.
Oh, come on.
I'm with Trevor on this one.
Come on.
You got Cecil on the air going, oh, maybe it won't be one of these guys that's here. Maybe it'll be a new guy to dethrone him. Well, how about this, Cecil? Nobody's going to dethrone him. How about that? That's right, Trev.
I love this show.
This is CL Party welcoming you to the unofficial CWF Worldwide After Party with Jeff Edwards and Joe White.
And good evening, everybody. I am Joe White. Welcome to the official, unofficial CWF Mid-Atlantic Aftershow. Well, I sound a little sad this evening, and then I am. It's for good reason, and I'll tell you why here at the top of the show. I won't touch too much on it because that's not what you're here for. In that intro, you hear my co-host, my usual co-host, Jeff Edwards, and I'll just say that some stuff went down this past weekend. I'm not going to divulge it here because it's behind-the-scenes stuff and doesn't really need to be dragged out into the public eye. But some stuff went down, and Jeff has decided to leave the YouTube channel. At first, he was going to stick around and just do this show each week, which I love when he does this show with us. I love anything that Jeff Edwards does, podcasting, YouTubing, whatever the case may be. I'm a huge Jeff Edwards fan. Still am. Always will be. And, pausing Bob Ross to listen. And I thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is hard on me. Because I'm a huge, like I said, I'm a huge Jeff Edwards fan. I consider Jeff Edwards a friend of mine. But he's choosing to step away and go out on his own. And I encourage you guys to click on the iTunes link there in your description. Whether you're watching us on Twitch or on YouTube, there's a link there that says listen to us on iTunes. And I'm assuming that's where Jeff Edwards will be posting in the future. We're going to miss Jeff Edwards. We've done about, I think, 15 shows here. We've been doing this for 15 weeks now. And I'll just say some creative differences happened. And Jeff decided to go his own way. And I want nothing more than for Jeff Edwards to be on the other line right now with me. I'll be honest, I didn't want him to go. You know, I mean, when he said he was going to do this show every week, I was happy. I was like, good, thank God. At least he's sticking around for that because he's a cornerstone to this. But he's choosing to move on completely, and I respect his decision. I will say that I am sad to see him go. I wish he would stay. But apparently, you know, he wants to go off and do his own thing, and I got to respect that. And I respect it wholeheartedly. So, with that being said, we invite you guys to call in live tonight. If you want to be my official, unofficial co-hosts, we advise you to call in and do so. People who are listening, 434-710-4900. I'll try to put you on without screwing it up. 434-710-4900. And you can call in, tell us what you thought about tonight's episode. Whether or not I have another co-host or not, I don't know. It depends on if I can find somebody to watch the show every week religiously like me and Jeff do, or did. And it depends on if I find somebody who's going to take this seriously like I do. I love doing this show for you guys each and every week for the last 15 weeks. And I'll continue to do this show with or without a co-host for as long as I can. Rumble season is coming up. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We do want to hear from you guys. If you're in our chat room, go ahead and give us a follow on Twitter if you haven't done so already, at 1650 PWAM, and at Joe Pillar to Post is where you can find me. That's my personal account. Donations are always welcome. So if you do donate, you'll see your name pop up on the screen. If you subscribe to our network or follow us on Twitch, you will or YouTube, you'll see your name pop up on there. So you're going to only get my opinions tonight. I'm going to try to make this as entertaining as I can. You know, Jeff was my wingman, man. So, this is episode worldwide, episode 117. And we start off with Snooty Fox and Dirty Daddy, a.k.a. Showtime, going up against the Dawson Brothers for the Mid-Atlantic Tag Team title. CL Party, of course, the wonderful, beautiful, talented CL Party, introduces both teams, but before she can do so, the Dawsons decide to jump Showtime before the bell. Of course they would. It's the Dawsons. So hot, it's like a volcano. Stutz says Cecil Scott. Stutz says, when you say it, it sounds kind of sexy. So, Jeff Gahn may have to listen to Bruce Mitchell. No, Bruce Mitchell's not going to be my co-host every week. Bruce Mitchell, there's no way that Bruce Mitchell can do this show each and every week. I know Bruce, and I wouldn't dare ask of Bruce to do this because I know his schedule, and it's. I'm amazed we got him on the first time. Let's just say that. We got a drop toe tonight out of Snooty Fox. I was excited to see that, actually. Snooty Fox has ring gear now that actually matches his gimmick with the fox on the back of it. I would like to see, if they're going to continue putting Snooty Fox and Dirty Daddy together, I would like to see Dirty Daddy kind of match Snooty Fox a little bit, or vice versa. They look completely mismatched out there. Even when I was watching this live, when I was there live, I was like, these two guys don't look like a team yet, if that makes any sense. His trunks fit the gimmick, and I like the trunks. That's all I'm going to say here. The Dawson's double team is on point here. I really like the Dawson brothers. I like what they do. I like their tag team wrestling. Dave Dawson with that single foot drop kick is awesome as always. Wrestling God for co-host. I don't know about that, because Wrestling God is a good source. So I don't know if he wants to come on and call in. You're all more than welcome to call in. We could take phone calls tonight. Nobody has to stay on here permanently all the whole show with me. Dave Dawson with that thing. I put here, Snooty needs to work on his punches a little bit. Hey, I know, who am I to judge? Joe White, the stupid mark. Dirty Daddy's dive to the outside on, I believe it was on both the Dawson brothers, or at least I think it was Dave, was botched. So it's not too often that we see a botched dive. So it was a dirty dive. I put here in my notes. Dawson's hit the clothesline into a German for the win. And I put here also that, take some chopped liver. I also put here that, like I said, if they're going to continue to team with each other, this Showtime thing, which it looks like for the foreseeable future that they're going to keep these two together, I felt like this match was kind of a repeat of their last 2 or 3 matches where Snooty kind of starts off, then tags out. Dirty Daddy takes all the punishment and then gets the hot tag to Snooty. Granted, I know that's how tag teams go. I mean, the Dudley Boys did it for years. It was, Devon gets his ass whipped, Bubba comes in for the hot tag, makes the save. So, I like to see it changed up just a little bit, though. That clothesline into a German was beautiful, though. Beautiful. Up next, CL Party brings out Eric Andrews. He tells her to reintroduce him, and she does, and adds his spin on the ring entrance. CL Party, awesome as always. Her reactions to everything. Stutz has the bucket for the challengers. The bucket, which is a Utz Cheese Balls bucket from Sam's Club. Let's be real here. Has now gotten a makeover, and that the bucket has CWF stickers on it. Andrews says there's going to be Andrews says there's going to be no challenger. Tonight's a celebration, and he deserves to be in the main event. Well, it says he's the greatest champion in company history, not just TV champ, but greatest champ overall in company's history. I thought this was a great promo by Andrews. Andrews just gets better every week, coming out there being that dirty heel, being that dastardly heel that we all love to hate. Trevor Lee comes out from the back and wearing a pink flower Hawaiian shirt. I did not expect to see Trevor Lee at this event wearing a pink Hawaiian flowery shirt. I'll be honest, Dirty does not need Snooty, if you ask me. Dirty Daddy was fine on his own. I like the gimmick of the Dirty Daddy. To me, I'll be honest here, him being with Snooty Fox in this Showtime gimmick, even though they mentioned it here on the broadcast about how he got kicked out of the NWA and he had to start over as a rookie, that cheapens that gimmick. It waters down that gimmick when he's doing the Showtime deal. But getting back to the Andrews thing, Trevor Lee comes about in that crazy looking shirt, and Trevor takes all the names out of the bucket, and he says he's a fan of CWF. Can he draw one? And he takes all of them out of the bucket, throws it into the crowd. I happen to catch one of them. Slip of paper I got says Number Man on it. Number Man versus Eric Andrews. Can you imagine that if that were to happen? So he throws all the names on the crowd, challenges Andrews to a match for his own belt. Hold on here. There we go. Sorry about that. So it's for his own belt. So, of course, Andrews accepts it, and that's going to be your main event for the night, is Eric Andrews versus Trevor Lee for the main event, and it's for the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight title. Give me just 1 second here, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this microphone to where that static will stop, and I think I've got it. But anyway, I need to get new XLR cables and new microphones for this tax time. Tax time's coming. 5 more months, tax time. Anyway. So then we have Priscilla Kelly versus Sis. Sis is now coming out in a black robe. I don't think I've ever seen her. I'm sure she probably has come out with that robe before, but she came out with that black robe on. I thought it looked awesome. Very Japanese-esque. I put here, Priscilla Kelly looks better and more physical here than in their last matchup. They even make mention on commentary how in the last few months since the Coronado Cup, Priscilla Kelly has grown, and I full well agree with that. And we got a double stomp to the side of the head by Sis. She had her draped over the second rope. She went up to the corner and did the double stomp. German by Sis, and then the match ends with a German by Sis. And I want to make this perfectly clear. From my opinion, a lot of people are going to be like, well, Kelly, Priscilla Kelly no-sold the German. No, she did not no-sell the German. She popped up a little bit and looked dazed and confused. And the finish came when you had the German, and then Sis went for something else. Kelly ducked it and went into an octopus hold, and Sis taps out. I was kind of shocked that they gave Sis the loss here. They're going to have another women's match this Saturday. I'll pull up the Twitter card here, or the Twitter account here for CWF Mid-Atlantic here toward the end of the show, to see if I can give you guys the full, or at least some sort of a card for Saturday if you're going to the Sportatorium. I, unfortunately, will not be there. Let me see here. So it was a very good match overall. It's always awesome when you get to see Sis, and then you put her against Priscilla Kelly, and it's beautiful stuff. Still kind of curious to see where Sis is going to go now that she does not have Michael McAllister with her. We really didn't get a hint of that. What you saw there was what we saw live. So we really didn't get a sense of where Sis's character is going now. And we didn't see Michael McAllister on the show at all. So yeah, it was a Russian leg sweep into an octopus. There you go. Thank you, Jonathan. And so, that was pretty much the match there. It was a very good match. Always awesome. Like I said, it's Sis. You can't go wrong there. Eric Andrews versus Trevor Lee for the no time limit for the CWF title. I did a little math here. Joe White doing math. Oh, God. Here we go. They announced that Trevor Lee is 520 days as champion. I'm curious to know, is that of the air date of the taping, or of the, is that as of today, or is that as of when they taped it? Either way, if he can make it to Battlecade, he'll be around 670 days with that title. If he can make it to Battlecade. 730 is a 2-year title run. It's not that far off. So, who knows? Maybe we kind of had a sense of where they're going for Battlecade with maybe Trevor Lee versus Chet Sterling. Maybe it's time. Maybe it's Chet's time. Maybe it's Chet's year. Who knows? You got Roy Wilkins still lurking around with the golden ticket also as well. So who knows what is going to happen between now and Battlecade. But yeah, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the Eric Andrews versus Trevor Lee, no time limit for the title. As a fan, I'm sitting there going, Eric Andrews is not going to be a double champion. Kind of knew going in that Lee was going to beat him, but that's not the story here. The story here is that Eric Andrews. This is probably the best match I've ever seen Eric Andrews in live. And as far as worldwide goes, it's probably, even they said it's the most important match of his career. Jonathan Miller says, Nick Richards for Rumble. We'll get into the Rumble here in a little bit. We'll get into the Rumble a little bit because there's a lot of things happening Rumble weekend that we may need to get into. Wrestling God says, mid-September, he breaks Eric Royal's record. So, there you go. Let's see here. So we got a lot of back and forth here. The thing was, the story of the match was, he would break Eric Royal's record on September 10th. So there you go. I could see. I think it's pretty safe to say if you know how they're booking this. Now watch it. I'm going to say this, and then they're going to surprise us. I think it's pretty safe to say that Trevor is going to make it to Battlecade with that belt. If he does not make it to Battlecade with that belt, it would shock the hell out of me. It would shock the heck out of me if he does not make it to Battlecade. With the way they've been booking him, it would really shock me. I put here, Andrews plays a classic heel, ducking out of the ring to start. We get a nice wrist lock by Trevor Lee. Slow start. Actual wrestling holds. It was very refreshing. Very good to see. But here we get an octopus hold and a roll. Trevor tries to put him into an octopus hold. He gets a roll for the win. Andrews kicked out, after that pin, went to the floor again. Playing that classic heel, ducking out of the ring. Lee goes for a penalty kick a couple times, and Andrews has him scouted. I think it's pretty safe to say, and I like the way they're booking this. I don't know how much of an influence that Grant and Stutzy have as far as the match, how the matches are called. But we've been seeing more and more here of Trevor goes for the penalty kick once or twice and does not get it because the talent that he's going up against has him scouted. They've seen, it's almost like they've been studying him and know what's going on. Good chop blocks by Andrews in this match. Trevor selling the knee, even taking down the knee pad. And I'm shocked that they didn't call this on commentary of Trevor taking down the knee pad because, oh man, his knee is swelling. His knee's wanting to swell. And he's got to take down that knee pad to allow for swelling and bruising of the knee. Hey, no one's perfect, right? And I put it overall, though, it was good commentary for the match. It was just as good live as it was on YouTube, I think. Andrews does a heel hook very well done and sold very well by him and Trevor. He puts on the heel hook again. Trevor rolls through and latches on for an STF. Andrews gets a low blow later on in the match for Lee. And hits the knee trembler for a 2 count. The crowd did go quiet because there were a couple times during this match where, as a fan, you're sitting there thinking, when you're not analyzing this stuff like we do, you're sitting there thinking, maybe they do give it to Andrews tonight. Maybe they do give it to him. And in the back of my head, the smart mark in me is sitting there going, nah. It would be cool to see a double champion. It'd be cool for Andrews to have it, but it's not his time yet. But the crowd did go quiet during that spot with the low blow and the knee trembler because they were thinking that maybe it may have been it, Andrews then goes outside the ring, grabs both belts from the announcer's table, and Trevor, I wish Edwards was here tonight, man. Because Edwards has been saying it when Andrews went up against Kane or when Kane helped out Andrews, whatever the case was, and Kane grabbed Andrews' belt that one time, Andrews didn't get pissed at, hey, get your hands off my title. But when Andrews goes to grab Trevor Lee's belt, when Andrews grabs the Mid-Atlantic Heavyweight Championship, Trevor Lee snaps, does a bunch of palm strikes and slaps, says, that's my fucking belt. Who knows? Maybe Edward's right. Maybe somebody's listening. Because I liked it. I liked it live, too. Live, I was like, oh, shit. He just touched both belts. He just touched the champ's title, you know? So then Lee ends up winning with an STF and Rings of... kind of like a STF / Rings of Saturn / Regal Lock, you know, combined at 27 minutes and 4 seconds. And that was pretty much your episode right there. Very, very... It was a 53-minute episode. I didn't realize that Lee and Andrews went that long. Because it didn't seem like they went that long live, if you ask me. It also shows you the power of Grant's editing. Because the promo and the live, that was the main event. What you saw in the main event tonight was the main event. But live... The challenge for it happened like in the first couple segments of the show live. So the power of editing just to force everything together. By the way, if you'd like to call in 434-710-4900. Let us know what you thought about tonight's show. Again, it was Worldwide episode 117. 6-man at Battlecade. Trevor versus Brad versus Nick versus Chet versus Kane versus Roy. That's way too much. That is way too much, my friend. It'd be cool to see, but I don't see that happening. I really don't see that happening. I think what's going to happen is, here's what I'm thinking. I think that you're going to get Trevor and Chet. Chet's going to win the tournament. And then I think you're going to have him challenge for his title at Battlecade. Hell, I think you even have him announce it when he wins the tournament. Gives a long time to build for it. Gives a lot of time to hype it up. It's going to sell out. Battlecade always sells out. Shit, they were stacking them in like cordwood last year. All I could say is if you plan on going to Battlecade and coming up for it, get your tickets early. Otherwise, it will be standing room only, and you will have to struggle to find a chair like I had to last year. But, yeah, I mean, that's just way too much. You know, Brad's going to be back at some point. Brad, of course, cut that promo a few weeks ago, talking about he's not coming until he knows he won't be screwed, blah, 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 blah. But I honestly think that Chet is going to beat Trevor for the belt at Battlecade. And that immediately after he wins, you're going to have Roy Wilkins come in and cash in and win that night. Would not be surprised to see Roy Wilkins walking out of Battlecade this year as the champion. It makes sense. It doesn't really hurt Chet or Trevor. And it gets Roy over as a more dastardly heel. I honestly think that if they're going to put that title on somebody else, it has to be a heel. Unless you turn Chet, heaven forbid. You can't turn Trevor. That's been proven. You can't turn Trevor. Trevor acted like a heel all the way up to facing Nick Richards, and he still didn't turn. We are on Twitch and YouTube now. Feel free to follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/1650PWAM. And let us know what you guys think. Give us a follow there. Getting a couple texts here, guys. Sorry. There's a couple things I wanted to bring up tonight that concern some CWF stars. And it kind of segues into our CWF Tweets segment that we try to do every so often here. Priscilla Kelly had a match tonight, and I knew she was having a match tonight, so when this happened on Twitter, when I saw this, I was like, okay, this gives me at least a little bit of something to talk about on the show. And I feel like I should bring it up because it does involve CWF regularly, scheduled talent, kind of. Apparently, people have been comparing Priscilla Kelly to Paige a lot. And Priscilla Kelly asked it to stop. I think the gist of the tweet was, I have black hair and pale skin, get over yourselves. Which is true. So then, I don't know if I should say this person's name or not, to be honest. I'll say it. Fuck it. I'll say it. Becky Bayless, who I used to actually admire back in the early Ring of Honor days, tweets out, well, then you might want to think about changing your hair or your ring gear to where people wouldn't notice you as somebody who's been on TV for 5 years. That's what was said. So, Chip Day gets, of course, controversy spreads. Everybody starts retweeting it, trying to put Becky Bayless in her place all over Twitter. First off, Priscilla Kelly doesn't deserve to be treated like that, in my opinion. She is very unique. When I look at Priscilla Kelly, I see Priscilla Kelly. I don't see Paige. Thought has never once crossed my mind. So then, Chip Day tweets out something like, some cookies are just horrible, or something like that. And if you don't know, Becky Bayless used to be Cookie. You had Robbie E. and Cookie back in TNA. And Chip then followed it up, I think, the next day with like a South Park character with like a beehive hairdo and hoop earrings that looked like, literally, if you took Cookie and put her into South Park, this is kind of what, and made a troll out of her, this is how she would, this is how she would look. And the things, she's like, don't you hate, and Chip's response was, don't you hate when you see one of these? And it's like the thing's eating cookies out of a bag. I look at it this way. Here's a woman who is getting her name out there, is the Shine Nova champion, who's doing a hell of a job everywhere she goes, busting ass, paying dues. And you're going to have another woman who, with all due respect, when she was in Ring of Honor, I liked her. When she was with Special K and all that, that's taking it back for you guys. Good Lord. That's like 04, 05 Ring of Honor, I think. I like Becky Bayless. But let's face it. When's the last time, she's sitting there going, maybe you ought to change up your look so you won't be compared to somebody who's been all over TV for the last 5 years. When's the last time you were on any type of TV, Becky Bayless? Because from my account, I think it's been about 10 years since anybody thought of your ass. Talk about somebody trying to sneak their nose under the radar and become relevant. It sickened me. It sickened me. Chip did burn her good on Twitter. I even commented burn underneath of it, I think. Hell, you ask somebody who's a modern fan of wrestling, somebody, some of these new indie fans who are just now catching on to the business in the last maybe 5 years. You bring up, hey, remember Becky Bayless? They're going to look at you like you're on crack and be like, who? Who's that? You mentioned Priscilla Kelly, though. People know who Priscilla Kelly is on the indie scene. Her name's all over the place. So before you start going out there, and this is just from my mark-ass point of view, but before you start going out there and telling somebody to change their hair or to change their ring gear or to change their makeup, why don't you look in the mirror and find out how you can go back and make yourself relevant again? Before you comment on somebody else's spotlight, why don't you try to see if you can go out there and find your own again? Because the last time I checked, you hadn't been relevant in about 10 damn years. That's just a fan's point of view. It burned me up that night to no end when I saw that. It really did. Other news, Eric Royal made it to the second round of the Scenic City Invitational this past weekend in Chattanooga. From what I heard, the tournament was awesome. Glad to see Eric Royal make it at least past the first round there. I'm not getting heated. It's just a matter of when you think about it. Somebody who has not been relevant in 10 years. Let me see when she left TNA. Let me see. Let me look it up. I got to look it up to tell you. That's how relevant she is. Yeah, when does that SCE Rumble air? So that I could give ESPN 2 minutes of my attention. She left TNA in 2011, okay? So it's been about 6 years. August 26th of 2011 is when she left TNA. I haven't been told when it airs. It's just quote, in August. Oh, God. Happy trees. Yeah. I mean, it's kind of hard to be, I got to stick up for Priscilla Kelly on this. I have to. The Rumble is coming up. CWF Mid-Atlantic Rumble. I want to say Grant said it was going to be on the 14th this year. So we are only about 2 months away. Monday will be 2 months exactly. And apparently, there's going to be a bit of a fan fest happening. And Johnny P and Jay Bryant are going to be putting this on. I only know him as Jay Bryant. I've seen him at shows, but I haven't really gotten a really big chance to talk to him, I don't think. They're going to be doing a fan fest. The plan is in its infancy stage. Let me see if I can get some more information to you. I'll look up the Twitter account here. Go to Twitter for all your information. Isn't that wonderful? Oh, man, come on. Again, if you would like to call in, the line is open, 434-710-4900. When is Drew cashing in his Rumble? Isn't he almost out of time? I don't know. So the Fan Fest apparently is scheduled for October the 13th and 14th in conjunction with the CWF Rumble event. JB and Johnny P are putting this on. They're going to be hosting it. It's a fan con. More details are coming. I like to think of the event as a fan conventions such as WFIA, ECW CyberSlam, or the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Fan Weekend. So we'll have, I'll go ahead and put it over here. I have had a couple people ask me, hey, am I going to it? I could tell you right now I'm going to try to go. It'd be nice to go and hang out with you guys. Let me see if I can head on over to CWF Mid-Atlantic, though, and give you guys a card here. I'll be honest with you, man, I miss my co-host this week. That's all I got to say. CWF Mid-Atlantic this weekend, August the 12th, presents Varsity Blues, 7:30 bell time. The Weaver Cup rolls on. And this Saturday, you're going to see Lucas Calhoun, the old juke joint Lucas Calhoun, taking on Ethan Alexander Sharp in Weaver Cup Round 2 action. You're going to see a women's match in the Aspen Rose. The Midnight Mermaid is going to be taking on Casey Lennox. I've never seen Casey Lennox before. This picture I'm looking at here, she looks beautiful. Hope they have a good match. Looking forward to seeing it. Also, you got the Dawson brothers taking on I'm going to call them the Revolutionaries. That may not be what they call them themselves, but it's Darius Lockhart and Caprice Coleman. They earned a shot a couple weeks back, or a week or so ago, if you were watching. And also, second round Weaver Cup champion Alex Daniels is taking on Smith Garrett. That ought to be very good. Can't wait to see that one. Really, I really wish I could be here live for this. You're going to have AIW Wrestling Academy. AIW is a promotion out of Cleveland, Ohio. Taking on a team from CWF's Dojo. You're going to have Frankie Flynn, Garrison King, and Dr. Daniel C. Rockingham going up against a team from the CWF Dojo. And also in Weaver Cup second round action, Chet Sterling versus Aaron Epic, which ought to be awesome. So yeah, it's pretty much it this Saturday. I'm assuming Eric Andrews will be there. I'm assuming. I don't know. We haven't really got an official card, but looking forward to everything. Not a bad match on the show. Not a bad match at all. The Lockhart versus Dawson match really intrigues me because I would be thrilled if they actually gave it to Lockhart and Coleman. But can Coleman commit to coming to CWF once a month? Because he's a busy guy. He's a busy guy, unless he's, trying to wind things down and take on a lighter schedule. I don't know. The Chet Sterling versus Aaron Epic match also intrigues me a lot because of the way Aaron Epic, won the first route, the first round action with the pile driver, and he had interactions with Brad Stutz backstage. The Calhoun versus Sharpie match really has me intrigued as well because it's going to be a lot of comedy. And it's essentially, would you call that heel versus heel? I would. So who knows what else will pop up here. I'll go ahead and put over Modern Vintage Wrestling. Has stuff coming up as well. They work in conjunction with CWF Mid-Atlantic. They're official. They're also PWI members. So go ahead and give them a follow as well. I got to tell you as well, I actually managed to watch Kamikaze Kid versus Nick Richards from a few years back in a Kazi rules match. Well, first I watched those two in the Last Man Standing match from last year. That was phenomenal. I advise you to go on the www.cwfworldwide.com and look it up because it was a phenomenal match from last year. But the Kazi rules match, it's raw footage. There's no commentary over it. And it's in the old Sportatorium. So that shows you how long it's been. And I kind of see what Grant says now when they say that, hey, we've ran bigger arenas before and drawn about the same amount of fans. So I can see where he says now that the current Sportatorium just suits them so well. My counter to that is when you ran a bigger building, though, we didn't have the indie boom that we're having now. But who knows where things are going to go? Who knows? If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Again. But this damn Kazi rules match, my God. You had steel chairs, you had tables. I think they brought it. You had light tubes in this match. Light tubes. Fluorescent glass light tubes. I mean, the second Nick Richards, both matches are legendary. No more than the simple fact that Nick Richards changes his nickname about 4 times throughout this promotion's history. Kazi come back, and I would mark the fuck out if Kazi came back and won the title from Trevor. The least we could do is see Kazi in the Rumble this year. Can we push for that at least? Doesn't have to do much. Just he can be eliminated right away. I just want to see Kazi come back and be in the Rumble this year. Book it, Stutzy Claus, you know? Oh, man, but yeah, Varsity Blues, August 12th, 7:30 bell time. At the Mid-Atlantic Sportatorium, you'll see the Weaver Cup Elite 8. Sportatorium is at 1001 Springwood Avenue in Gibsonville, North Carolina. Get your tickets online at CWFtickets.com. I don't know why. I don't want to know why you have replica bullwhips from that match. That's the question. That should be the question. Why is it that you have replica Kazi bullwhips? Hello, ladies. Anyway, Cornoto Luxury Box and VIP seating is still available, I believe, according to this poster that I'm looking at here. They put Aaron Epic and Aspen Rose on the poster along with the Dawsons. I don't know, man. It's weird. I want to go to this one, but I really just do not have the time or the money to go. I'm out of video games to sell. So I can't afford to go, my ticket, let alone to drive down to Gibsonville. But you got that coming up. And then, of course, after that, I believe is finals night. Let me pull up this official schedule here. I do know as well they got I think it's in late September, they're returning to Chapel Hill, so that ought to be fun. So yeah, August 12th, Varsity Blues. And then Saturday, August 26th is the Weaver Cup Finals night. Then as we head into the month of September, Saturday, September 9th is For the Record, which the road to the Rumble begins. Saturday, September 16th, Modern Vintage Wrestling is going to be at the Sportatorium featuring C.W. Anderson's team versus Chet Sterling's team in a War Games match. How in the Blue Biscuits are you going to fit 2 cages in that Sportatorium? We shall see. Plus 2 rings. Isn't War Games 2 rings, 2 cages? Or 1 big cage? Yeah, it's 1 big cage surrounding 2 rings. I could see how you could fit 2 rings in that building. But you're going to have to take away a whole section of seats. And then September 30th, they return to Chapel Hill, North Carolina at the Hargraves Community Center. That's always a fun time when they're at Chapel Hill. I've never been to one of the Chapel Hill shows. I may have to go to that one. I'm going to try. And then as we head into just 1 cage. How can you have a War Game? Well, yeah, it's War Game. 1 cage, but they have to have 2 rings. It's War Games. You can't have War Games without 2 rings at least. The match is misnamed. Okay. War Games rules then. 1 cage, but they can only win, 2 teams, 1 cage, but you can only win by giving up or submission, I guess. It is misnamed. Because you hear war games here in the South. Yes, Blue Biscuits. I've always used that. Can you imagine a Biscuitville serve blue biscuits? Like legit blue biscuits. Like put blue food coloring in the biscuit dough. Smurf biscuits. Anyway. But yeah, there you go, folks. That's tonight's episode of the of CWF Worldwide. I thought it was a great episode. It was a great match live. Great card live. Curious to see where they go next with this Saturday. But again, Saturday the 12th. Get your tickets now. You see here, I'm trying to think if there's anything else we need to plug or put over. Somebody asked me in the Twitch chat room, will I be at FanFest? I'm going to try to be at FanFest. So I'm going to try. I can't make any promises because that means going to Gibsonville for 2 days back to back. One of them being on a Friday, and if I have if I end up gaining employment by then, I may not be able to make the Friday stuff. Saturday maybe for sure. It depends on if they're going to charge tickets to go to this thing, because then you're going to have to pay 2 tickets. I'm going to have to pay for the Rumble ticket, and then I'm going to have to pay for the FanFest ticket. So. Hold on. Sorry, I'm having to check 2 chat rooms here with this thing. Okay, I can't answer that question because the last time I went on that thing, I kind of got digs. Or not digs, but got the evil eye. So I cannot answer that question. I'll state the question. It says, will you be a part of FanFest? I can't answer that. I'm not the one in charge running it. So, can't answer that one. FanFest is free unless plans change. Well, if FanFest is free, then I'll be 100% there. But as far as me being a part of FanFest, I'll try to be there. Whether or not I'll be part of the festivities, it's not up to me. And it's up to the people running it. That's all I'm going to say on that matter. So yeah, that's our show for this evening, folks. It's a short show this week. I'm sorry we're not going 2 or 3 hours like we usually do. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in tonight. Unless there's anything else in the chat room you guys want to talk about here, I will say that with all this outside talent that they've been bringing in, they brought in Chip Day, they've brought in Dominic Guarini. You got to wonder how many of these outside talents are going to be in the Rumble this year, too. They've certainly got enough talent of their own between themselves and even the dojo to put 30 people in a ring. 30 regulars in the ring. Somebody says, sis for Rumble winner. I couldn't agree with you more. I could not. I've been begging for them to push that lady for months now. That's my thoughts on the whole thing. She should be pushed a little bit more than what she is. Glad to see they're having more women's matches, though. I like that. I like it. But yeah, that's another thing that crazy, kind of irks me this past week is we had the Scenic City Invitational. And then the same company that's putting that on announced a trios tournament. Nothing wrong with that because the King of Trios is being held in England this year. Aside from CWF, yes, CWF did 2 tournaments this year. They normally, I think they've done a tag team tournament before, but what they're more well known for is their 1 tournament a year, which is the Weaver Cup, which we're in the midst of now. I don't know why for the last 2 years now, the indie scene has been on a tournament kick. Like every fucking promotion has to do a tournament, but man, it's getting old. The tournament thing it's really getting played out and old. I think. I'd like to talk about the life and career of Chase Dakota. Go ahead and talk about the life and career of Chase Dakota, because I'll be honest, I don't know what a Chase Dakota is. Unless that's you there, McAllister. Oh, man. But yeah, I think the tournament thing needs to lie down for a little while. Go away for a little while, you know. It's okay to do the Weaver Cup every year. It's okay to do the King of Trios every year. Hell, if you're going to do the Kernodle Cup every year, do that. Rod E. Lewis. Oh, God. Now they're just throwing out names that I'm not familiar with in the chat room. But yeah, I mean, the whole tournament thing, it's like, golly, every promotion. WCPW, What Culture, is doing like a big 64-man, 5-country tournament. And then you got this promotion doing a tournament. This promotion's doing a tournament. Then we had it first started with the Cruiserweight Classic gaining so much attention. And then you had the UK Championship tournament. Now we got the women's tournament. This tournament, that tournament. Then we got to have a tournament to see who's going to be inside the tournament for the tournament. You know? I mean, come on. It's getting out of hand with the tournaments. There's a reason why they took away the King of the Ring, because the King of the Ring really didn't draw much. Except that last year when Brock was in it, I liked that year because the winner of that tournament got a shot at SummerSlam. And it kind of gave WWE a little bit of a pattern. You know, the winner of the Rumble gets a shot at WrestleMania in April. 2 months later, the winner of that gets a shot 2 months later, or a month and a half later at SummerSlam. No, let's not talk about the greatness of Chappie. We will. I mean, do we have to ban the word name Chappie from this show? I got an idea. Chappie enters the Rumble at number 1, and everybody fucking just beats the shit out of him. You get all the other 29 guys in the ring, where you can literally have 29 people in the ring beating on Chappie. Best Rumble ever. The greatness of Chappie. That's a short list, man. That's a short topic. I mean, I think his name, Chappie, that's about the best you could come up with. All right, folks, we're going to wrap it up here for tonight. I'd like to thank you guys so much for watching and listening to us today. And if you're listening to us on the archive, thank you very much. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. More importantly, on YouTube, there's a little bell. You click that little bell there, they'll send you a notification when we go live via email or text, I believe, too. If you're on Twitch, you'll see links below to follow us on Twitter and iTunes, and there's even an iTunes link down there at the bottom of YouTube. Follow us on iTunes or subscribe to us on iTunes. You'll get notified every time we upload a new podcast there. And also follow us on Twitter at 1650PWAM. And me at Joe Pillar to Post. Been done already, yeah. What hasn't been done to Chappie aside from them just fucking slaughtering him in the ring, Really. But thank you guys so much for watching and listening. And we'll see you at the Sportatorium.